Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to take up the evaluating the data mining results. In the previous classes we discussed how to collect the data, how to cleanse the data, how to compile the data and all. Now while compilation is this stage, how I am going to compile the data, and once if I compile the data, what is the result I am going to expect. There are two primary kinds of data mining process, that is called as supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So what is meant by supervised learning? Supervised learning is a learning where a decision model can be created using a past data, and the model can then be used to predict the correct answer for a future data instances. So what I want to say, I am collecting the past data, the previous data, I am compiling it, and whatever the results I get, then I am going to incorporate it with the future result of the data, that is the upcoming futures. So this is called as a supervised learning. Suppose the classification is the main category of a supervised data. There are many techniques of classification for a supervised data called as decision trees being the most popular one, and for these techniques can be implemented with many algorithms. A common metric for all the classification techniques is a predictive accuracy. Now what is meant by predictive accuracy is just nothing but in the correct predictions divided by total number of predictions. So first you identify the number of predictions are possible for the business, then you identify in the total number of which are the correct predictions, then I can see the predictive accuracy level may increase. So this is about the standard common metrics for the classification of the techniques. Now we will move on to the evaluating the result. So once how I am going to collect the data. Now please see the slide here, how to evaluate the data mining result. Now to evaluate the data mining result, this you please remember the diagram here. There are two categories. One is called as a true classes. What is a true class? A true class always contains a two category. One is called as a positive class, and another known as a negative. What I want to say is that it is a positive true, that is a true positive, and there is a one negative true, that is nothing but a false positive. So once you can see the abbreviation, there is a true positive, there is a false positive, there is a false negative, and there is a true negative. Just a permutation and combination, 2 cross 2. There is a right axis, there is a positive and negative, and there is in the y axis there is a positive and negative. Go with a true and false, then automatically you can get the 2 cross 2. Now here you can see the predictive accuracy can also be taken from true positive plus a true negative divided by the total number of predictions. For example, in the previous slide we saw here, that is the correct predictions divided by total number of predictions. Correct predictions by total number of predictions. This is the predictive accuracy. Similarly here also the predictive accuracy may be taken up from this both, that is a true class and the positive. So true may be a positive true, there may be a negative true, or there may be a negative negative, or there may be a positive true. So two positive true. So this is also one of the way we can increase the predictive data. This is one of the way of evaluating the data mining. Okay, now we are going to talk about some of the important techniques in the data mining for compilation. The data mining may be minded to help more efficient decisions in the future, or it may be used to explore the data to find interesting associative patterns. The right techniques depends upon the kind of a problem being solved. For example, you can see in the diagram important data mining techniques. What are they? One is called as a supervised learning, another one is called as an unsupervised learning. Supervised learning will always have a classification. One is like a machine learning techniques, or it may be a decision tree, or it may be an artificial neural network, or a statistical techniques always talks about the regressions. So these are the modes of techniques in the supervised learning. My dear students, what is meant by supervised? Collecting the previous data, analyzing it, compiling it, you will get a one result. With that result relevant to the future ahead results, then it is called as a supervised learning. If it is an unsupervised learning, I can also explore by using clusters, that is in a set of same behavioral data or association rules. These are the common factors elements that we will study one by one. So clustering and association rules comes under the category of an unsupervised learning, and decision tree, ANN and regressions comes under the supervised data. Now we'll go study one by one. Decision tree. Decision tree are the most popular data mining techniques. What is meant by decision tree? Easy to understand and easy to use and be analyst as well as executive. That shows a high predictive accuracy. That means what I want to say, even a non-linear relationships can be handled well by decision trees. Decision trees are the tolerant of data quality issues and do not require much data preparation from the users. So they select the most relevant variables automatically out of all the available variables for the decision making. So this is called as a supervised data. Supervised data, how it is selecting? A hierarchical, organized, branched, structured data to help make decision in easy way and in the logical manner is called as a decision tree. It is in a supervised learning. Please, my students, please remember, decision tree is nothing but a hierarchical, organized, branched, structured to help make decision easy, that too in a logical manner. So this is about a decision tree. Now we'll study about what is a supervision learning, especially in the regression. Regression is a relatively simple and most popular statistical data. Always remember, whenever there is a statistical data we have collected and we have organized and we cleanse, we have to apply a regression method. Now in the regression, what is going to see? The goal is to feed them a smooth, well-defined curve to the data. That is, a regression analysis technique, for example, can be used to model and predict the energy consumptions, a function of a daily temperature. Simply plotting the data shows a non-linear curve. Applying a non-linear regression equation will fit the data very well with a high accuracy. So we'll go with a small example. Now what is mean by a regression here? You can find here in the y-axis there is a weight in terms of a kg. In the x-axis there is a height with respect to centimeter. The relationship between weight and height. The relationship between a weight and height is given in one small equation. That is, y is equal to 0.2811x plus 13.5, and similarly r square is equal to 0.428. So what I want to say, it is in a sequential. So what I want to say, statistical data is to smooth, well-defined curve. That is, it is used to model and predict the consumptions, a daily energy model. See, for example, you can see here there is a blue color dot in between 120 to 140. Now what I want to say here, with respect to the weight of a 45 to 50 kgs and a centimeters of height of 120 to 140, there is a one node has been predicted. This is a one cell. Similarly, with respect to weight and cell, different blue color lines you can see. When I draw a line between the common factor, then automatically only some of the points will be interrelated with this case study. That is about the height and the weight. Then what are the points comes below or is incorporated with this line is called as a regression model, or it is called as a regression-on model. Now we will move on to the artificial neural network. In the artificial neural network also, a process just one neuron and the result may be communicated with another. So what I want to say, artificial neural network, neuron receives a stimuli and process them and communicate their results to the other neuron. It is just like pipes and filters. One neuron will receive some work or a task, it will process it and then it will communicate that result, whatever it has processed, to another neuron. So automatically it will be taken for the next neuron will process, again it will compile, it will generate a result, that result will be communicated with the other neuron. So this is called as a pipes and filters category. That is about a data mining techniques, artificial neural networks. Now you can see here, same data if you take, there is inputs, there from x to an x to the power of n, there are n number of inputs. Now each input will have some weightage, that is wi1 to n win. Now if I make a summation of an input plus weight, you will get a one technique. If I make that add, you will get a some function. Now all the neurons with the weight, it has been processed and compiled and it has given a result. Now if I make a consolidated, if I make a summarize of it, then there will be one set of function that is called as an activation function. Now based on the activation function, I can decide whether I have to process it, I have to stop it, I have to compile it all. So this is called as an ANN. So our regression based on the correlated artificial neural network based on the neuron, how it will stimulate, how it will process, how it will communicate the result from one neuron to the another, and how it has been summarized, and how the active function can be taken care. Now these are the ANN, and the regression are the supervision learning, supervised learning, collecting the previous data, checking for the current data, and expecting the future accuracy. Okay, now we will study one more